Steve Gamache with a Chef Knives to Go quick look product video, and we're looking at the Kohetsu Blue No. 2 Nashiji Petty 135mm knife. This line of knives has a core steel of Aogami or blue paper No. 2 carbon steel, and the heat treat rating is about Rockwell 62 on that. Please see the group video of these knives for some other information I'm not including in these individual videos. The knife has a stainless cladding over Blue No. 2, and I'd characterize it as a rustic Nashiji, which means pear skin finish. It's kind of a matte finish on it. There we go. And definitely not too shiny. The edge shows up real nicely here because it is nicely polished. Some of these have a little bit of patina on them just from use playing around with some ingredients. And so there you can see the knife. The weight on the knife is 2.8 ounces, about 80 grams. Blade length is 135, right at 135, and the overall length is about 10 inches. The spine at the heel chin area here is pretty thick at 3.4, but it thins out. And this is a pretty stout petty, so it maintains a lot of that, but does thin out pretty nicely with the grind right at the tip there. So it is pretty thin at the very, very tip. And the height on this blade is 31.2 back here. And the handle is a basic oval chestnut with a plastic ferrule. The fit and finish on this knife is pretty good. The relief on the spine and choil neck is pretty decent. And if you could relieve it a little more if you wanted to with some sandpaper, but I found it reasonably comfortable out of the box. Here's the profile on this blade. It's a pretty flat profile. And even for a small knife like this, it's quite flat, quite a bit of flat space towards the heel, little bit of belly towards the front, and reasonably thin at the edge. This is not a very thin petty. It wedges a little bit because it is pretty stout, but boy is it stiff. It's a very, very stiff blade, and I could almost see this for some boning use on poultry in lieu of maybe a Nesuke type knife, but here's the profile on our little handy-dandy board illustrator here. So it's fairly flat, and you can get a lot of nice chopping done with it despite the 135mm length restriction. Out of the box sharpness was okay. I sharpened it up. It had a little bit of a chink near the edge on it, or near the tip. I sharpened that out and sharpened it up, and it sharpens great. This Blue No. 2 is great stuff. Lower maintenance with the stainless cladding, and balance point on this, the last final thing, about right there. So it's a nice nimble knife, and as I said, quite stiff. So there you have the Kohetsu Blue No. 2 Nashiji Petty 135mm knife.